Hello everyone, I am Be Better Gamer. Welcome to Be Better Gamer Wrestling. This channel is dedicated to the classic series of N64 wrestling games developed by Aki Corporation, such as WrestleMania 2000, WWF No Mercy, WCW NW Revenge, WCW vs. NW World Tour, Virtual Pro Wrestling 64, and today's episode, Virtual Pro Wrestling 2. I am going to be showing you how to unlock Bas Rutten in this episode. I'm going to edit his attire and go over the MMA system in this game. You have to go through Royal Road Secession to unlock Bas Rutten, showing you right there. This is a fresh start. I am playing as Minoru Suzuki, and I'm going to explain why I'm playing as Minoru Suzuki in a bit. But I'm very excited because I haven't really showcased the MMA system in this game since my lengthy introduction to Virtual Pro Wrestling 2 episode, which was my very first Virtual Pro Wrestling 2 Let's Play. And a majority of the hidden wrestlers in this game that are left for me to unlock are mainly MMA fighters. So you're going to be seeing a lot of MMA videos because of that, because of all the MMA fighters I'm going to upload, and you have to play as MMA fighters to unlock them. And like I said at the beginning of this episode, I'm going to be playing as Bas Rutten. There I am with Minoru Suzuki. Minoru Suzuki, an MMA legend in his own right, still competing today as a wrestler, actually. He's right now fighting in Pro Wrestling Noah. I'm more familiar with Suzuki's work as a wrestler. Full disclosure, I'm not a huge, my knowledge of MMA isn't as extensive as pro wrestling. I've only ever really dabbled in MMA here and there. I know the big names, Ken Shamrock, the Gracies, Tito Ortiz. I know big names here and there, but I couldn't list all their top matches. I couldn't tell you all the great accomplishments they did. So that's why I'm also excited to delve into these MMA wrestlers, because I've only recently started to get into MMA and watch MMA and follow MMA, mainly because of this channel. Even when this game came out, the MMA grappling system, which you're going to see me do a little bit of in this first match. I'm only going to do the first match, and then I'm going to jump right into the match where I unlock Bas Rutten. But you're going to see that the shoot fighting system in this game vastly overpowers the grappling system. I mean, it's not even fair, especially if we're playing just regular wrestling moves, because the strength of a lot of these shoot fighters. There you go. That was a weak shoot grapple, is what I like to call it. A weak shoot grapple. As you can see, the grappling animation is different for the MMA fighters, but they're weak grapples. They can pull out strong grapple moves. So think about that. Think about like if you did a weak A grapple and you press the A button or the B button to do your weak grapple move, you can bust out like a T-bone suplex or a choke slam or a power bomb. Moves that you can only normally pick for strong grapples. All the MMA fighters, when you have the shoot fighting system, they can do. There's another weak grapple, and there I have that grappling knee slam. I forgot what you call it, but not knee slam, knee kick. Rear naked choke. They're all experts in submission, so their submission ratings is very high. Obviously, Minoru Suzuki, very famous. There was going for a strong grapple. There's another weak grapple, which is just basically a choke takedown. And just like the mixed martial arts move set, so if you do the weak grapple and the A, you do all the grapple moves. If you do a weak grapple and you press B, you'll do the striking combinations. That was a strong grapple, and see, it's a big takedown. So I'm taking down Giant Kamala. Shout out to Giant Kamala. I'm going to be doing a video on him soon, actually. Just a match video with him and Andre the Giant. But there you go. See, I'm just pounding away. So this is just me tapping B. I'm tapping B, doing this pounding. You can actually make them submit from this rear mounted position with just the striking. If they're, weak enough, they'll go for another strong. But if you go into the strong grapple and then you press A, you'll transition into an arm bar submission. So really cool stuff, really cool, very close to the MMA. It's amazing that they have this grappling system in this game, and it's sad that we never saw this grappling system make it into WWF No Mercy. I think the longevity of this game, or I should say the longevity of WWF No Mercy would have been much greater than it is today if they kept the MMA, because now MMA is so popular, obviously with UFC, Brock Lesnar and all his accomplishments, him being a WWE, superstar, transitioning to becoming a UFC superstar, and even recently having another UFC fight. You got CM Punk, having his UFC match coming up. Even Batista dabbled in MMA. So, and Minoru Suzuki is a perfect example example of a MMA fighter who transitioned to the world of wrestling. I mean, when he left MMA and he performed in All Japan and New Japan, he was a big deal. He was competing for the top titles. He helped form the Suzuki Gun stable. It was actually originally called Kojima Gun in New Japan Pro Wrestling. Then they all turned on Satoshi Kojima, and Minoru Suzuki became the leader. And last year, at the beginning of 2015, Suzuki Gun, they went and they jumped over to Pro Wrestling Noah, and that's where they are right now. You know, they are right now in Pro Wrestling Noah. Here I am hitting my special on Gary Albright. That was a transition through the power of editing because I wasn't going to go through the whole month to show you just me dominating people with Minoru Suzuki. And as my partner, I chose Masakatsu Funaki. Suzuki and Funaki were the founders of a promotion called Pancrase. And if you're not familiar with MMA or the history of MMA, I should say, if you're not familiar with Pancrase, it was one of the, premier MMA organizations to come out in the early 90s. It was founded in 93, and it was one of the first big, major promotions to gain international acclaim. And that's where this guy right here, Bas Rutten, well, that's still Minoru Suzuki, but I thought they were going to show Bas Rutten first. It's where Bas Rutten rose to fame. He rose to prominence in Pancrase. El Guapo is what they called him, the handsome one. El Guapo is a Spanish name for the handsome one. That was his nickname. Didn't really take a lot of punches to the face, so he managed to keep a really good looking, well, that's not how he really looks. That's not El Guapo right there at all. Although the shorts that he's wearing is very reminiscent of the shorts he first wore when he started competing. But again, that's not his that's not how his appearance is actually supposed to be in this game. Like I've mentioned in all my other unlock videos, the hidden wrestlers and all the regular wrestlers except for the All Japan wrestlers, they all look different. You have to edit them. Even Minoru Suzuki, he didn't look like that right away when I unlocked them. So here I am. I jumped right to the end of that first month. Basically, you got to get through past the month of May. But really, it's just that first series of matches that you do, those first 5 or 6 matches that you do when you start your Royal Rosa session with anyone from Pancrase, and then you fight Bas Rutten at the end of it. See those 5s up top? Now, we're fighting in a special MMA match rules. So there's special rules to this match. Because that's something else they added to go along with the MMA system. You can make a match based on how many rounds you're gonna go. If you get points for rope escape, if rope escape is free, you can get points for takedowns, which is basically the big strong grapples that I did. Time limit, no time limit. If there's round, how many time limits goes to how many rounds there are. So if you do 5 rounds, you can make the time limit, each time limit is like 3 minutes, 5 minutes and stuff like that. If you get points for knockdowns, so when you KO someone with a KO move, they can still get up, and you have a count to 10 to get up. And here we go. I have him in a rear naked choke. Is he gonna tap right here? Because I believe the quick match is on in this. So in this one, there's no rounds. You get 1 point for rope escape. Takedowns are free. It does have the quick match setting on in this one. The game decided that, not me. I'm not a fan of quick match, but it makes sense. See, I get 1 point there because I went for the rope escape. That was what that was. The -1 was for the rope escape. You actually get to control, when you have that on, when you have the rope escape on, you actually get to control whether or not you choose to do the rope escape. So that's why they put the quick match on, because it creates some strategy. There he was right in the ropes, and then he went for the rope escape. Usually it's instant, when you do the regular moveset. That was a great block by me there. Give up is normal. You can give up in this. So basically, to win this match, I have to either make him submit, or make him lose all his points. Meaning, if he reaches the rope escape 5 times, or if I manage to do a couple of knockdowns. Usually, after 3 knockdowns, they're knocked out anyway. And KO is on in this, so I can win by KO also. But that's what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to make him submit. Trying to be very careful because I don't want to get caught up. There he goes. I got him in the rope again. He goes for another rope break. And to call for a rope break, I should mention, is the you press the left C button. That's how you yourself call for a rope break. So again, if quick match is on, quick match, if you don't know, basically means they can tap out much faster than normal. There we go. with the leg. What is that called? Oh man, I don't even know what that's called. The shin breaker. But this thing, this thing right here, I forgot what it's called. It has a name, but I just don't remember what this is called. But there we go. See, I'm against the rope, so he can't get that rope break. And since quick match is on, much faster than he normally would, because I really wasn't working on the leg. And the one time I did get the rolling leg lock, he tapped out. I mean, he hit the rope break. But there you go. There's Bas Rutten unlocking him. And I'm gonna talk a little bit more about the special match rules in a bit. But right now I'm going to jump into, we're going to go through the whole sequence of the fact that I unlocked Bas Rutten, whatever all that text is telling me right now about him. And I'm going to show you the edits that I did. I'm going to spend a lot of time talking about this gameplay in this episode. If you haven't noticed, I'll probably delve a little bit into the history of Bas Rutten and the history of Pancrase, but I'm probably going to save all that for another episode because I really wanted to explore the MMA fighting. So there you go, real quick. I mean, you'll see it again, but when you see the characters, when you see their names, it has red writing beneath their names, and that's how you know that they have the shoot fighting style, the MMA style. If it's normal white, then they're just regular wrestlers. If it's yellow, they have the martial arts where they can do the combo. If you do a strong grapple when you press B, you can do combo hits, sort of similar to Goldberg in WCW NW Revenge. If you've played that and you've always wondered why guys like Goldberg or Ultimo Dragon or Yuji Nagata, when you did strong grapple and B, they would do all these striking moves. That's what would eventually make its way into the created wrestler for Virtual Pro Wrestling 2. So there you go, Face 78. Again, I'm using Shima's Virtual Pro Wrestling 2 edits for this. So if you want to just click in the description below. But also I'm going through it here so you can see it real time as you watch this video, in case you just happen to unlock Bas Rutten as you're playing this. But yeah, Bas Rutten, man, he's a big deal in the world of MMA. I could go into a lot of extensive detail, or actually all the detail that I researched, because again, I'm not a huge encyclopedia of MMA knowledge, but he has a YouTube channel that really helped out a lot. His own official YouTube channel. It's Official Bas Rutten, and I highly recommend that if you're a fan of Bas Rutten and you haven't heard of this channel, or if you're a fan of MMA in general or the history of MMA, because he was one of the early pioneers of MMA, especially over in Japan in Pancrase. On his channel, he's uploaded all his professional fights, and with a few exceptions. And he gives like a retrospective commentary on each one. So it's like he's doing a let's play with his fights. It's really cool. It's really interesting to see. I think the clips all come from a DVD of his, but that's awesome too. The fact that he has this DVD where he just runs through all his fights. It's very insightful for like an MMA novice like myself, but it's also a great resource for any MMA fan. So there he is, Bas Rutten, El Guapo. And I'm going to go ahead and change his other attires too. He had a lot of big notable fights in Pancrase against the founders, Masakatsu Funaki, Minoru Suzuki. He had a couple of bouts with Yoshiki Takahashi, Kengo Watanabe, Tsuyoshi Kosaka, Ken Shamrock, Frank Shamrock, and who else? A few other people he had some major fights with. Everyone pretty much is in the game that I just mentioned, except for the Shamrocks. So maybe down the line I'll make the Shamrocks. So here we go. This is what I did a couple of days after I unlocked Bas Rutten. So I gave Minoru Suzuki the King of Pancrase title. Now the King of Pancrase title is already available in the game. You don't have to unlock it. So if you haven't unlocked any belts, it's like the 5th one from the top. But if you've unlocked a few belts, if you've unlocked all the belts, it's the 11th belt down from the top. So here I go. I changed it. I'm fighting on the expert difficulty, as you can see, and I changed the rules. This is all the MMA rules. It's all in Japanese, obviously, so I used the translation guide. Once again, the link is in the description below, so you can figure out what means what when you're making the MMA move set. But basically, it's one round, 30 minutes. You get 1 point. You lose a point for rope escape. Takedowns are free. I turned off quick match, unlike the match that you have to face Bas Rutten. I turned off quick match only because I wanted the match to have a little bit more drama. There's no drama in quick match, honestly. It's too quick. No pun intended. It's too quick when you do quick match. So I took off quick match. No gong save, so it's gonna go to decision, time decision. You lose if you lose 5 points. Knockdowns are free, which in retrospect, I shouldn't have made knockdowns free. I should have made knockdowns you lose 1 point, because you did lose 1 point in Pancrase rules, in early Pancrase rules, I should say. I should also mention that early Pancrase fought in different MMA rules than what is known today, with like modern day MMA in other parts of the world and UFC rules. You can give up. I did turn on bloodshed, which was strangely off in the last match. It was just off. It wasn't even like referee decision. It was just off. And so I turned it on here, because who doesn't like a little bloodshed in their MMA matches? Let's just be honest. We're all barbarians watching the gladiators fight. And time decision, like I mentioned. So here we go. There's those 5 points. So this is really cool. This is my first MMA match that I'm putting on since pretty much my very first video. Shout out to Dylan Wilbert. He's a subscriber for the channel. He's a Be Better Gamer wrestling subscriber. A while back, he was asking me to do some MMA matches, and it was perfect timing too, because I was just starting to do some research on some MMA guys that are in the game, and he actually shot me a link, I believe, to Bas Rutten taking on Minoru Suzuki for the King of Pancrase title, because when Bas Rutten won his first King of Pancrase title, he defeated Minoru Suzuki. So like I mentioned earlier, Suzuki and Funaki, they founded the King of Pancrase, and they scouted Bas Rutten to join their, roster of young up-and-comers. Ken Shamrock was one of them as well. And, but Ken Shamrock, I think, had a little bit more history already with MMA, and he trained under Funaki and Suzuki for a little bit. But they invited Bas Rutten. Bas Rutten has a background in kickboxing and Muay Thai fighting. So they brought him over, and in his first match, in his first King of Pancrase match, he beat the dude. Who did he beat? I wrote his name. I shouldn't just call him the dude, because he's Ryushi Yanagisawa. I hope I'm pronouncing that right. I'm probably not. But Ryushi Yanagisawa, he beat him in 43 seconds with a knockout. With one of his infamous kidney blows. There's Minoru Suzuki giving me a real choke. Oh my goodness, I was trying to reach the ropes. And see, here's the thing too. When you have quick match off, the decision for rope break gets left up to you. It's like, oh man, okay, I'm in the ropes, but I can take a little bit of this damage now and not call for rope break, so I can save my rope breaks, because you really want to save your rope breaks. See, look, Minoru Suzuki is all up in those ropes, but he's not going for rope break either. You really want to save your rope breaks for when you know your guy is tired, when you know you're worn out. If you've played this game long enough, you get the idea. It's like, all right, he's been giving me like 5 rear naked chokes. The next one's probably gonna make me tap out. So that's very important in the MMA fighting system. See, like right here, oh my goodness, perfect positioning. If this was later on in the match, I would have probably tapped out, but luckily that's only like the second rear naked choke he throws on me, countering everything I have. Playing on expert difficulty is no joke. Honestly, if you want a really tough challenge in the Aki games, I've always said that the AI in Virtual Pro Wrestling 2 is better than WWF No Mercy anyway. I always felt like it's more challenging in Virtual Pro Wrestling 2. I think that's one of the reasons why I favor, personally, Virtual Pro Wrestling 2 over WWF No Mercy. But if you really want a challenge, there he went for his first rope break. Awesome. So that tells me already that if he's going for his first rope break, then that means at least when it comes to his head. But then I go for a rope break because I get scared, because he got me with a really good takedown, and those takedowns, you can get stuck in them for a little bit. There he goes, sizing me up with those counters. But yeah, if you really want a challenge, man, playing on expert difficulty, putting in rule sets that emulate the actual fighting. I did my best to try to emulate how the Pancrase rules were at this time. Again, I should have, in retrospect, put takedowns for 1 point, or knockdowns 1 point. He's grabbing his head already, and I got him in a rear naked choke, which was one of Bas Rutten's specialties. Not rear naked choke, but But what should I say? What is that called? Oh my goodness, I'm forgetting. He just said 1,000 guillotine choke. There we go. His guillotine choke was one of his specialties. His kidney blows, when he would punch or kick you to the kidneys. You know, in Pancrase, you couldn't use closed punch fists to the head. You couldn't close your fists and punch guys in the head. When guys were on the ground, it was frowned upon to strike at them unless they striked you first. And Bas Rutten was known as a striker, but when he would get guys down on the ground, he would resist punching them. You know, it's not like modern day UFC where you can just punch guys with closed fists. If they're on the ground, you can punch and elbow. All that stuff was kind of banned. You know, you couldn't elbow guys to the head. You couldn't knee to the head when they're on the ground unless you were coming up. No kicks or stomps to the head on the ground. If you were in the standing position, they were in the bottom position. So there was a lot of different rules. You know, usually the matches were 15-minute, you know, 1-round matches, and it would go to decision. And the decision wasn't based on points unless you got points taken away. So unless you had points taken away because of like rope break or because of knockdowns, you know, let's say there was no rope break, there was no knockdowns in the whole 15-minute match, then the judges would just kind of decide who they thought won it. So very different than modern day MMA. Obviously a lot of matches went a lot longer. You know, you'd be hard pressed to find an MMA match. Minoru Suzuki is roughing me up. You know, he didn't go for his special, which he should have. He went for a strong takedown. When you have a special, again, you can just tap A to do the weak grapple, and you can do your special off of that weak grapple. There's a big takedown. See right here, if I had kept takedowns on, and if I come up, I would lose a point. So again, that still makes it very intense though, because Minoru Suzuki got me all the way to an 8 count. We're 5 minutes into the match. It's getting pretty intense here. Minoru Suzuki is kicking my butt. But I love it. I love the challenge. Gotta try to make a comeback somehow with Bas Rutten. You know, and that's another cool thing about the look, big counter right there. That's a big counter for me, because now I can go to the mount position, or actually no, I'm just gonna go for a rear naked choke. That's his back submission. He's not really moving too much to the ropes, so this could actually work out in my favor. Bam, Minoru Suzuki taps. How about that? Wow, what a pulling that out when there's got Bas Rutten's trademark split kick. Very cool. I think it's very cool. I mean, I love the MMA. You know, honestly, now since I can appreciate the MMA fighting as an adult, as someone who's been watching more MMA and getting kind of into it, I can really appreciate the fighting style. So I have a lot more MMA videos to come. This is just a taste. This is just a glimpse. Got a lot more MMA fighters I have to unlock. So I hope you like this. And yeah, do shout outs. Let me know. Send me some stuff so that I can go watch and gain more knowledge with MMA. But there's Bas Rutten. I hope you enjoyed this video. You know, the next one, I don't know if I'm going to do another call, maybe another MMA unlock, but there you go. Once again, I am Be Better Gamer. I hope you enjoyed this Let's Play. Very new territory for me, but I had a lot of fun making it. But anyway, until next time, as always, keep watching all the wrestling. Thank you.